Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Hot Combs and Popcorn podcast, and specifically season three of the box office. Okay. For those who don't know, my name is Brianna.
My name is Bobby.
And my name's Danielle.
hmm And one of the things we like to do here on this series is review movies in Black culture that we probably should have seen already, but we haven't. But this is why this is our safe space. We're going to watch those, we're going to rate those, we're going to talk about them, and we're going to give them 1 to 5 hot combs at the end of it. Okay. And today, just like how we've been doing all season, we are going to be reviewing another classic. Yes, that's going to be Waiting to Exhale. All right. Based on Waiting to Exhale, the book by Terry McMillan. She also co-wrote the script with Ronald Bass. And we got Forrest Whitaker out here just doing big things, directing great movies. Okay. It stars Angela Bassett, Whitney Houston, Loretta Devine, Leela Rochin, I believe, which we've been seeing a lot this season. Okay. Dennis Haber, as we all know, I believe, who is that? The Allstate guy? No, that's Justin. Who is he?
He's all state guy.
You know,
He was the
it is
OG.
Allstate.
Mhm.
It is the
That's
yeah, he's the
Allstate.
OG. You right, you right. We have Gregory Hines, Wendell Pierce, Kenya Moore. I don't know why he's not listed on the cast, but Wesley Snipes, okay, big period. Michael Beach. We also have Brandon Hammond, which is like always in any 90s movie as a child. Michael T. Williamson, and so many more. Okay. So Waiting to Exhale had a release date of December 22nd, 1995. Definitely has a rating of rated R. It has a runtime of 2 hours and 1 generous minute. For those who don't know, Waiting to Exhale follows four female Black women as they navigate through friendship, careers, family, romance, and bonding over the shortcomings in their love lives, namely the sacredity of a good man. Okay. So, first, we're just going to start off talking about our general thoughts and opinions, and then we're going to get to our highlights and lowlights. So, ladies, how did we feel about Waiting to Exhale?
Well, if you think this is gonna be like a cute little, good feeling movie, this is not. This is not that. This is trauma. Okay, we are getting into it, and we are struggling. The ladies were struggling. I can't even lie. But overall, I think the movie is really good. I It was very real to real life. I think that's fair. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now. hmm
I
hmm
would have to agree. I feel like as a Black woman who happens to be straight as well, this was very affirming. Oh, on top of that, I too am going through the throes of dating. So this has been a very affirming movie. I saw it once, maybe like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I think for the first time. And I rated it. Well, let me not. I'll mention that later. But I feel a lot better about it now than I did then. And I think that's because I'm older now. I'm at a different point in my life and I can relate, unfortunately, more to these ladies and their experiences. And I was having a great time, honestly, just like, wow, you're also beautiful and you don't deserve this and you're too good for him, girl. And it was just all that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I am in my own Waiting to Exhale. Okay. I feel like, you know, me and my friends dealing with men, good men, bad men, not great men, some of us single, some of us in a relationship. I mean, it's just, I was like, wow, is this, I don't know how old they were supposed to be in the movies, but I'm in my late 20s. So have I gotten to this point too early in life? Someone let me know. I would love to not be going through the throes of relationships and things of that nature at such a young age. Okay. Considering the fact that like I think a lot of people in my generation are, having children a lot older. Um, I was like, I know when this came out, especially with the pressures of relationships and that timetable that you're supposed to hit as a woman, it was stress. It was just giving stress the whole time. The men were giving men. Also, just in general, a lot of memes from this movie. And I was very excited to see so many of them, which I'm sure we'll talk about when we get to our highlights, which is right now. All
Oh
right.
wow.
So, ladies, let's get into it. What's the highlights of Waiting to Exhale, which I'm pretty sure this is probably going to be like the longest part of the episode. Pretty sure. So let's see. Let's see what happens.
Now that
Danielle's
I'm
face
looking,
is not going to be long for her, so never mind. Got it.
oh, wow.
Okay. Wait. Hold on.
You want to start with the lowlights instead? You want to start with the lowlights instead? Because I don't really have lowlights for real for this movie.
Literally.
So
I was just gonna
maybe we
say,
should just get
I don't
your
have it.
section. Bro, that's what I said. Maybe we should just get your section out the way so we can start talking about the good stuff. Because I don't have no lowlights for this movie.
My lowlights aren't lowlights about them. Like I said, I think it's a good movie. My lowlights are mainly about the people, like I guess the circumstances in it, not necessarily the movie itself. I would say, like, I was thinking about the friendships and like how they really were, and like Robin, honestly, not that great of a friend. Like, she was kind of like a yes man, like especially in the scene where it was Gloria's birthday, and oh my God, what's her name? Angela Bassett's character.
Gloria is
Bernadine.
Bernadine.
Or Bernadine.
Bernadine. And Bernadine she was going through it, okay? She was about to call up her ex, call up the girl that her ex was now gonna be with. And Robin was like, yeah, let me talk to her. I want to do that. Like, we don't always need that energy. You know, Gloria, in my opinion, was the best friend she had. Like, she was always there. She was always giving some sort of reason. And then Savannah was just there. She didn't really add much to it. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't have lowlights about like, it's a great movie in my opinion. It's just it was a lot. It was a lot going on.
I think they were really trying to make sure that like Robin came across as like that feisty character, because in the beauty shop when they found out that that Bernie's husband had just left her, what I cannot remember Gloria was like, okay, sweetie, call me, and then here comes Robin. Girl, I cannot believe he left you with 2 kids. So I think like they were just trying to like make it like fun and spicy, but it definitely comes off as insensitive. A little bit.
Yeah. I was also
I can see that.
I had like, can you even see this? All the notes that
oh my God, Danielle. Oh my God.
And 90% of my notes were girls stand up. Like, especially Robin. Like, let's talk the man that was on crack. The man that was on crack.
Can I just say?
Was it Russell?
Can I just say? I don't know what his name was.
I don't know.
It might be Kim. I don't know.
Wait, was he the one that wanted her to meet his mom?
Yeah, he's the one. Michael, there you go. Michael T. Williams and Troy. He's Troy. Very nice man. I've worked with him. I did not know who he was really before I worked with him, so it's always fun watching these things in reverse. If I had known that he was in this movie, the first thing I would have said to him unprofessionally is, "You raggedy bitch," because that is a meme that is one of my favorite memes. Next to the guy standing outside of the window, his hair whack, the way he smiles whack, the way he whack. Like, it's the same energy, but the opposite reason. And like, to see it play out in real life in the movie was even funnier. I feel like I missed out on an ample opportunity to be like, "You raggedy bitch," but that would have been very inappropriate. But it would have been funny. I would have showed that I appreciate it. I would have showed that I appreciate what you did in the movie.
Yeah,
that was hilarious. I mean, he played like, oh my God, he played the nigga that he needed to play. Let me tell you, like, what do you mean? You met me 3 days ago and you want to introduce me to your mama?
Yeah,
like,
it's a little weird.
Sir, like,
I will say, a man has also done that to me as well. I remember it was literally day 3 or 4, and he was like, "I want you to be my mom." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Mhm.
Maybe
I
crazy,
I
girl.
definitely
Maybe
I was
crazy.
definitely yeah, I was definitely talking to someone at some point, and like day 3 of talking, 4 or 5, so something around that, I was talking to my mom like off off the phone, but on the phone with him. He was like, "Oh, tell your mama I said hi. I hope she's doing well." I said, "I will tell my mother nothing." The fuck? Like,
Right.
no, you are not
It-
even going past the telephone. What are you talking about? And honestly, like, I'm just not even gonna go. And I'm not gonna put, this is not the podcast to let these men shine. Okay. Not
No.
this episode. So I will not give them any more. I will let them all guess who I'm talking about. Okay. And if the shoe fits, wear it. Because what are you talking about? Like, that's not cute stuff. That's not cute saying stuff like that to women. Like, that's creepy as fuck. No, no, no.
I don't. Your mom should know I exist in 3 days. Like,
Like,
Exactly. No, my
and
mother will
like,
know about you after we no longer talk and I tell her all the tea. That is when she will know about you.
right. Or if anything, she's gonna find out about this red flag. So I don't
And
know.
she gonna point it out.
Yes.
Honestly, okay, can we talk like a middle between highlights and lowlights since there's no like real established lowlights? Because then we could just talk about the characters. I just want to say, I love Loretta Devine so much. I want to be Loretta Devine when I grow up. Her character in this movie, outside of the desperado of it all, it was giving Capricorn. Okay. She was telling her friends about their life. And she was like, literally, when Ashley was like, I want you to cut my hair. She's like, this is dumb. You shouldn't cut your hair. She's like, I want to cut it anyway. She's like, fine. I was like, that is me.
yeah.
I give you one time to tell you something. If you don't do it, sure, let me help. And she cut it and the hair looked cute and it was all good. Like it was good time, but like she was definitely the centerpiece. She was like the grounded person who, although she had her own little things going on with the neighbor, she had little man's, she still was a sounding board, even though she was going through all of that. And I was like, I know all 4 of them are like typecasted in a certain way, but I don't even care. I just loved her character. Her and Bernadine, they were it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bernadine was a woman, like she was so real too. Oh man, I'll wait for the highlights. But
We can
damn.
get into it. We
Okay.
can mix the highlights and lowlights together. Milkshake it up.
Perfect. Go ahead, Bobby.
Because that entire like opening with her, well, actually it wasn't an opening. It was just the highlight of the movie, burning her man's car, stripping his closet, screaming to nothing, just yelling, just to yell, selling the entire house for $1 a piece. It's like, she gets it.
Yeah.
She gets
Mm-hmm.
it. To get your shit and get out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, she did all that, and I was like, it's still not enough for me. I want a little something. And then she runs into the boardroom and she smacks that girl. And I said, that's what I
Right.
need.
That was the cherry on top. I was like,
Mhm.
yes,
Yes.
somebody had publicly embarrass that man. Embarrass him.
Yes. Yes. I agree with
Yeah.
all of these things. I mean, the fact that, and let's just talk about this in the context of the period this came out in, right? So this was the mid to late 90s. Black men dating outside of their race, leaving their Black wives for non-Black people was a very big trend that was going on at the time. Don't know who made the trend, don't know why it happened, but it was a big thing. And when he said, would it have been different? Would it have been different if she was Black? And she was like, no, it would have been different if you were Black. I said,
Ooh,
Oh,
that was crazy.
touched my
I
pearl.
said,
When she
teeth.
said that.
I
Ooh.
said, say it, hit him again for me. Hit him again.
Come
Like I was
on.
like, because, and then we got to see the woman, which, we're not gonna go into
We don't.
whether that made a difference, but it was just like,
Well, knowing
I guess because of the way it picked up, we don't know anything about their previous relationship. So he really just looked like a fuck boy, like a married fuck boy.
yeah,
Like the audacity. This is why people be cutting off their husbands' penises, because you can't want other people to be civil when you're doing uncivil things. Okay. He was trying to make her look crazy, but how you gonna come into my dressing room, my side of the closet, and tell me you not gonna bring me because she don't want to be home
alone.
by herself? Well, give me the address so I can make sure y'all live in eternity together. Okay, like how you gonna say something like that to me and then call me crazy? See, this is called gaslighting, friends. That if he was anything, gaslighting was that.
I also loved in that scene, I don't know if y'all heard it, there was like when they were arguing and he was like, she don't want to be alone, like you were saying. On the TV in the background, it was like, this is the emergency, whatever, this is a test. And then you heard like the dial tone. And then when he like finally stopped talking and he left, it ended. And I was like, oh, I like that.
I was like, Forrest.
Sound designer went off.
What you doing over here? You got some little directing talent.
I was like, oh, okay, Forrest.
Like, that did.
Forrest
I noticed
Whitaker, he did his big one. He did the big one. Like, wow.
This might be the biggest one, honestly. Like,
does he have others?
I don't know.
Like that was a legitimate question.
If there are multiple ones, this is the biggest, because I mean, first of all, I know we have issues with Robin. Can we just call her, I don't know what her last name, Stokes. Can we call her Robin Keep a Man Stokes? And they all, except for the first guy, which I think was intentional, ate down. She had Leon. I said
Ooh.
that. I said,
yeah, she did.
I said, ooh, she had Leon. Also, fine in this movie, which I don't understand why it's not credited in anywhere. I had to search the name up. Wesley Snipes in this movie, I was like,
he looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all did. I was just like, the entire cast was going face for face the whole movie.
Face for face. Even Kenya ass up in there.
Man, with Kenya, I know that lady.
I was like, wait a minute. Now you on that show. You on that show with them women.
With the one.
She made herself a good little cameo. She said, hi.
She said,
I'm Denise.
You owe me a dance.
And honestly, I kind of love to see it because like I knew Kenya first from Housewives. I've only seen the first like 2 or 3 seasons of Atlanta. I don't really watch Housewives, but I've heard the commentary and the mess and all the, all that stuff. So I've only ever known her off of Housewives, but it was real nice seeing her at work, getting paid.
Oh.
Like, okay, Kenya. Sure.
Like I knew she was in stuff, but I've not really seen a lot of the things that she's been in. She's definitely typecast, but I think she was all right with that.
I mean, of course. A bag is a bag.
A bag is a bag.
I guess we can move on to other characters. How did we feel about we talked about Layla, I'm not sure how to say her name, but she be in everything. I guess like the 90s is when she was cast and everything, because we watched like 3 movies and she was in it. So I'm not sure if that was like her prime. I'm assuming Robin was her breakout role, because that's like probably one of the biggest roles you can have is a leading role. But Bernadine, she was that girl. Savannah, he's a good man, Savannah.
Okay, let's get into that one.
He's a good man, Savannah.
Did that not come from Savannah James? I deadass thought that it was the
LeBron's wife?
I deadass thought that like that meme was like a Savannah James thing, because I had no idea it came from this film. I was like,
but
okay.
Can I ask, like, who would have been talking to Savannah James to say that to her?
I don't know. Okay, so I've seen like specifically about LeBron. Like I have seen the tweets about him like quoted like that's a good man, Savannah. Stuff like I thought that it was because of them, just because they've been together since high school.
Oh,
He's never cheated on her. They don't have scandals. They have
got it.
always standing up for her and like all that stuff. So
I
Got
think
it.
they've been using it in reference to that, but it's not from Savannah James.
Oh, yes. I realized that you did not know that they were referencing something when they said that. You just
Yeah.
thought they were saying, oh,
that's what I thought. I
knew it
had
was a
no
reference.
idea.
I just didn't know from where, because I've heard other people say it in that same way, but I just didn't know what the reference was from. I knew it was from a Black movie, and that's all I knew.
Honestly, I thought it was from a
Um,
Tyler Perry movie. So
See, I mean,
I
that would have
see
made
it.
sense
I see
too.
that.
I can see that. That one is crystal clear.
I think I'm gonna be honest though, it's not a low light, but it's very disappointing to where that fairies came from. Like
Mhm.
her mom, let me tell you something. There are some good moms and there are some not great moms. And her mom was in one of those categories distinctly. Because what do you mean? You know this man married. You sent this married man to your daughter, and then he tell your daughter they possibly gonna have another child. And you tell her he's a good man, Savannah. You just gotta wait. See, this is what I be talking about. Like, the fuck are you talking about? You want me to just be with a married man for what?
to say that she has a man. She said at one point, she was like, I don't want you to end up like me. I don't want you to be alone. So you want her to ruin a marriage or be a side chick with the man who is married with a child, with a possible child on the way. Like, I want people really to start thinking. Like, I want you to be so for real right now. You want your daughter to be a side chick. And then also, why are you talking to a man that she had a past with like from years before? Why are y'all besties talking on the phone?
Like,
Why is he calling you to say your daughter did this and blah, blah, blah? Like, what?
There's so much gaslighting in this movie. It's ridiculous.
Oh God. I wish. I you know how when you're older and you know your parents kind of become your children? That's how it felt watching her with her mom. Because I probably would have popped off the same way. Like, what do you mean?
I just like hate that so much. Like, you don't want better for your daughter. Like, I understand that her mom's generation is the generation of stay home, have a family, but like, just because Pawpaw has 17 wives don't mean I gotta be one of them. Like, I don't understand.
like women in the 90s, we're not doing that.
Danielle, is that not I mean, just because that's what was happening, don't mean I gotta be a side chick because that's what you know is normal. Like,
can we not grow as a new generation? I don't.
and it's not even like Savannah, first of all. Also, what's his name? Lionel was also fine. You know, it was embarrassing. Their sex scene. We also need to talk about the sex scenes because they were so
So bad.
it's giving. Are you not embarrassed?
Yeah, I was really
this is so embarrassing. Yeah. I would love to know from a male perspective if they really be acting like that. I've been lucky enough to not experience that, but I have heard of people being in such situations where the men's is awkward and really forgot she was there.
Yeah. That's so sad. That's so sad.
I am going to plead the fifth.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. You know, we all sometimes have that.
Yeah.
A lot of reflection. See, this movie, a lot of reflection. This movie is the black, like, Like,
Yes.
you don't have to really talk to explain this movie. You just like,
No, like I dead ass
hmm.
was like the thing about the mom, there was also something else that I think it was Allstate man, Dennis, he said something to Whitney, um, Savannah. He was like, yeah, you know, like I'm with her, but like you're the only woman I've ever truly loved. Like someone has said that to me before. Like, well, let me sit and think about this. Let me reflect. Because no way did this movie come out in 1995. And here we are, 29 years later.
And men still acting the same?
Yeah, word for word,
Happened?
bar for bar,
Like,
literally.
y'all ain't aged out of this tomfoolery. Like, I
Like, yo,
mean, there was not one redeeming male character in this entire
not
movie.
one. Well,
Like,
actually, no, Gloria's man.
Man,
okay, yeah, he was. I was trying to figure out who ended up with a man at the end, and she was the only one who
Right. And
ended up
maybe
with
the
a man.
son, but
Also,
he's only 17.
also, yeah. Well,
eh,
yeah,
I mean,
the
he's a kid.
Scrubs man. The Scrubs man was acting like a
Okay,
17-year
so
old.
that's where he's from. I was like, I know that face. I know the face. What is he
Yes,
from? I could not
he's from
place Scrubs.
Scrubs.
Yes,
oh,
Scrubs.
Yes.
John, what's his
He was
what's his
also in Clueless, which a lot of people know him by. I do remember
Donald.
seeing him in Remember the
Donald.
Titans.
Oh yeah.
Um,
He be
he was
working.
in a lot of he's like one of those people that you notice a lot, but they're never like the leading character, but they're in a lot of stuff. So they have a good discography that you like to watch. Um, he was I'm just not even gonna comment on him because we're gonna leave him at 17 and leave it at that.
Yeah. We know.
Um, but also, so I really liked how the Wesley Snipes thing got turned, right? Because you thought they were gonna sleep together. They just sat in bed and slept and held each other. And I was like, this is so respectful. I was like, that's the most respectful outcome that could possibly come out of this.
Yeah.
That whole scene,
Other than him not talking to her.
no, like it was fine. But also he was talking about like what he said, I love, he said that he like cared about her or something like that. Did he not?
Oh,
I
in
thought
the
he was talking
letter?
about his wife. Oh yeah, in the letter. In the letter later, but I was talking about the initial scene when they met.
Right. And then I had shoot, I don't know where my note is on
It
that.
was in the letter though.
It was something, and he was like, yeah, I would never leave my wife, like I respect her so much. I'm like, okay, but you,
Yeah.
so why are you at her house? Why are you not
He wasn't
driving
at her
home?
house.
Her house.
He was at a hotel. They
Oh,
were
they
at a
were at a hotel.
hotel.
Why are you at the hotel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just feel like you could have
It was
driven home.
the same, it
He
was the same night.
definitely go ahead.
It was the same night. So like when they were at the bar, they just went upstairs to
Oh,
his room.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Because then
Okay,
they were talking about it, and that's kind of when he revealed that he was also dating a white woman and that he was married to her and that he loved her more than anything in the world. Here's how I feel about the situation. It's just me. Call me toxic. At least he was telling you what it was. Okay? You can't go into it thinking he gonna leave his wife. He told you he loved her. He told you he'd been watching her die. She has cancer. So like at least you can't expect to be his number one because again, I'm gonna tell you not to be a side piece. But if you're gonna be a side piece, at least play your part and be a side piece. And they didn't even have sex or nothing, which I mean, it was definitely emotional cheating for sure. I don't know how his wife would feel about knowing the details of what happened, but also he didn't have sex with her either.
Mhm.
Now, the line that was crossed was the letter he gave to her. That was a cross line for sure. But also, he
Overall,
was
I
fine. So,
I'm not going to speak for the wife. It seems like a forgivable offense. Maybe.
I can't say what is or not for you. You know, exactly, Bobby. Like I'm not gonna say what's forgivable or not, but I don't know. Out of all the bullshit that was happening, it was just nice to see some non-bullshit going on. You know, like it was just that one night and that was it. They didn't really see each other again. We never saw him again in the movie. He was there to be fine 90s Wesley Snipes. He did his job. They slept together, just held each other, and he went home and he collected that check. And honestly, I love that for him. Okay.
Yeah.
I do. He played his part, as you said. I just, you know, outside of maybe him and Gregory,
Oh,
there are no redeemable. I'm sorry.
That's
His name is Marvin in the movie. His name is
Loretta.
Marvin in the movie.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Loretta Devine's little boo thing.
All these names, I
Yeah.
really cannot keep up. Like, I really.
There's so many. At this point, I'm just not even gonna call people like their character names, because at this point, I might as well just call you with your mama name.
Right, because y'all are
Like,
too famous now for me to see you and think of anything but your actual name. Like, I'm watching Gloria, but I'm seeing Loretta. Like,
Right.
I'm
Which
seeing
also,
strong Tyler Perry Dreamgirls Loretta. Okay.
wow. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I
Wow.
don't know. She's also always playing somebody's mama, and I was like, wasn't she like 30, like early 30s in this?
Right? Like, and
Please.
can we talk about the fat shaming just a little bit?
Yeah,
Michael's
I wrote that down.
character.
Can we? Because I just didn't respect
At all.
how
I
she
was
was
like,
treated.
Michael and Gloria, the two of them, were both like the big ones that were quote unquote undesirable, and we have come. I don't even. Okay, so I don't even know where to start.
Okay, can I just? I feel so many ways about what his name was, Michael. I feel so many ways about him that are negative.
Yeah.
None having to do with his weight.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think that this is the 90s, but I think that they could have casted anybody in that. They didn't have to be bigger, overweight, because, you know, she called him a little fat fuck multiple times. And it was kind of almost this like, how dare you have the audacity to be like that?
Right. I don't know. It was just like, why? It's okay. It's the same thing with like the unnecessary homophobia. Like, why do we have it in here? Like, why are we like, I get it. It was the 90s, and a lot of things in this movie did not age well. Um, just like a lot of movies from the 90s. But I just don't understand how they made Gloria so like self-deprecating. Like she constantly talked about herself. She was all and like it only made her feel good when what's Marvin? Is that his name?
Marvin.
When
Marvin.
Marvin came around and he was like, "Oh, my wife was a bigger woman," and then she started feeling better. Like it's just not sending the right message, you know? Like I don't know.
Also, the 90s standards of beauty just in general were so like skewed. The fact that like she's probably like what, like a size 10 maybe, I don't know, and it's like the big girl. I'm like, okay, this is excessive. I wish that they had done her justice, because like seriously, a woman that just got left by her husband is raising a 17-year-old kid who's about to leave the nest. She's about to be like alone, has a hard time dating, like just a regular woman. Like she deserves to not always be self-deprecating, always, you know, thinking the worst about herself, you know, going catastrophizing everything, all this stuff. I just wish that like she had a storyline similar to the other women. She's the only one that went through one man. All those other girls, they were going through like 2 or 3 men, you know, like they didn't even give her options to try
And
out.
can we also throw in the fact that, okay, so another name that was not listed in the cast for whatever reason is Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh yeah.
Man,
Yes.
Who played her husband or her ex-husband. You know,
Yeah.
I figured that his character was supposed to be gay before they said it. But then it just became very messy because you have her thinking that he became gay because he didn't want to be with her, which is a whole nother level of need to go to therapy. But then he also, like, the first thing he did when he saw her is they sat down and he was like, "You look healthy." I was like, "Healthy?"
Like,
That's what
I was offended. I was like,
Healthy.
"Healthy?
just say
What?"
she looked great. What?
Yeah, it was just, it made so many parties in this was so horrible that it made you, like, you didn't know how to feel about them because obviously you felt like, it's the 90s, a son finding out that his father is a part of the LGBT community, that's going to come with its own things and him calling the F word and all that. But then you also have his father fat shaming the mother. And it's just like,
it was messy, girl. It was messy.
girl.
Also, the bi erasure, I don't really necessarily like the idea that people, particularly men, face this more than women do. Bi men, like the fact that, like, oh yeah, you come out as bi because it's easier than like just saying that you're gay or whatever. And like there's like that belief that like if you're bi and you're a man, no, you're lying. You're not attracted to both. You're really just secretly gay. Like I really don't like that whole thing. It bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
Also kind of found it a little bit ironic. Well, not ironic. I don't know what the correct word for this is off the top of my head. But when the son found out that his dad was gay, like he said that he was queer, but like in a derogatory way. And I like that now that phrase is not necessarily derogatory anymore. Like people use that to describe themselves all the time just because it's way easier sometimes than, listing all of the groups that you resonate with and all of that. So that that was my small rainbow in the cloud of all of that.
Yeah, I'd have to say I agree. They're not really doing any group justice in this movie. It's really like um Black women, and that's all I really have to say about it. The things that we go through, the amount of stuff we have to carry. I think this does show what happens when you have a really good friend group. I kind of wish that Savannah's character had a backstory like Robin's, like when we found out that she had an abortion and then to later found out that she was pregnant again and she didn't want to let go of the baby, which, okay, men, right? The fact that she said you can do what you do to your other kids and disappear, and that's what he did.
No,
Yeah.
baby, we're going to court.
Baby, Leon ain't that fine. Like, you gonna take care of this baby. Like, if you help me make it and I got pregnant, clearly you need to take care of it if I decide to keep it. As we've learned from Lawrence and Condolences from Insecure, as we've learned, taking the route of being a single mother is not like as majestic as it's trying to be built when it comes to Black women, especially. This whole I can do it on my own, I have a village. Like, yeah, I want a village when I have a child, but the dad needs to be there as well. Like, that shouldn't just be pushed away. I'm sure her child's gonna have great aunties because for the most part, they seem level-headed, and it seems like they're the ones that need to be level-headed for that child. But outside of that, it's just like, I know at the end, each of them had their little moment where they got redeemed and they end up being with a guy or not being with a guy or standing up for themselves. But honestly, I wouldn't even necessarily call all of them what they did standing up for themselves. I mean, I like that Robin was supposed to have a like, I am that girl and I will continue to be that girl and you will not use me and I will be by myself. I'm bad. What's the phrase? I can do bad all by myself, right? Or you can go to therapy
Yep.
and take medication and surround yourself with good people. Honestly, I feel like this is a group that I could see dwindling to like 3 people. with the
Oh,
right circumstance. I could see them self-destructing a little bit because Savannah was no help. Robin was no help. The only person trying to keep everybody out of jail was Gloria, and Bernadine was just in La La Land. So
yeah.
Yeah.
We may want to bring in some new out with the old type of thing.
possibly,
I mean, who knows?
and yeah,
Therapy is amazing, you know, like maybe you can go to therapy and come back. Shit. I don't know.
Right. Try it again, you know. But I was just like,
maybe.
Rob, I don't, as much as I want to be like, good for you, you know, you stood your ground. You stood your ground a little too late because you saw how this man was with his other kids, how he was with his wife, how he talked about her, blah, blah, blah. But you wanted him to leave her for you. And this man's talking about, get my pajamas. That's what you want for the long term, but okay, whatever. Like, I don't know. Her character out of all of them annoyed me the most. I could not stand her.
Yeah, that was a rough one. And see, you bring up a great point. Like watching how people move with other people is the best way to know how they're going to treat you. So like, and also you get them how you lose them, girl. I mean, you lose them how you get them, girl. This man's having a full-on affair with you. You know it. What? You want to get cheated on next? Clearly.
Because you will.
Yeah, it's giving like outside of this movie, I just really hate, and this is why this movie is so relevant because this is still a thing happening today. I just really hate this idea of you have to go through certain things to have growth. Actually, in fact, you do not have to go through these things without growth, to experience growth. You actually don't have to be in this situation. You actually
Like,
can, just like you did Troy, throw an orange back at them and not let them in the door. Like, you actually don't have to be in this situation. I know you think you don't have any other choices. I just think it's such an unhealthy thing to teach girls, which I wouldn't let my child watch this as a like learning lesson. They can like watch it for fun and see what toxic relationships were in the 90s. But I don't like this idea of like, well, you know, because I'm sure if they got older and they made a new one, they would say something to the source of, you know, we were young, we were dumb. But it's like, actually, you don't have to be young and dumb. Actually. This was like the blind leading the blind. And when you have parents like Whitney Houston's parent in this, I mean, the blind just gonna live forever. And it's kind of
Yeah.
sad to watch.
and like, yeah, I had a thought, but it just left me.
Girl, I was holding on to that thought for so long. I was like, it went away and came back, and it went away and came back, and I was like, I got to get it out because I'm not remember it.
And you said something that reminded me of something. I don't know. Maybe it'll come back.
We'll just come back to it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Well, does anybody else have any highlights and or lowlights about the movie?
Yeah, buddy.
Danielle, I know you got a long list. I actually haven't mentioned anything off of my list yet. Actually, I somehow all the stuff that I wrote was like random things, like Angela Bassett's daughter being named Onika. I was like, oh,
Yeah, that
come
kind of
on,
killed
Onika.
me just a little bit. That kind of killed me just a little bit. Knowing that Onika was already walking around on this earth when this character's name was named Onika was kind of hilarious.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like little stuff like that. Nothing. Oh, I made a note that this entire film, probably because it's the 90s, I felt like it was a very stereotypical view of femininity, masculinity, and just like heterosexual relationships in general. Like it was like, you know, oh, this is what I was thinking of. Okay. I hate the idea that women have a certain timeline until they're, you know, useless, quote unquote. At the end of the film, Whitney was like, you know, I know I'm 33 and I may not get married. I was like, 33? Like, and honestly, this is something that I struggle with myself. Like, as I'm getting older, like I'm 26, you know, I'm so young, but you know, in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, well, you know, I want to do this by this, and I want to do this and this, you know. So, but I really hate that like you turn 30 and suddenly you're an old maid, you're withered up, like you got to get pregnant now, you got to get married now because your eggs are going to be gone in 10 years, girl, and you don't want to wait too long because you could die in childbirth and like all this stuff. Like it is exhausting. And I feel like this movie only helped perpetuate that based on how desperate all of them were. It was insane. And I feel like if Gloria hadn't already had a kid, she would have been cycling through these men a lot faster, like the rest of them were. Yeah, it bothered me.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree because it's very much live and well. I definitely just watched a video on Twitter of, I'm gonna just call him Jerry from Tom and Jerry. And if you know, you know. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Jerry interviewed with someone, and Jerry's girlfriend at the time of the interview was like 23, and Jerry, I want to say, is in his late 30s. And he was talking to someone, and the guy was like, "No, ain't my younger sister can't date nobody that's my age." Like the person he was interviewing, he was like, "Nah, bro, like my younger sister can't date nobody. I'm 30 some years old. My 20-year-old sister can't date nobody that's 30 years. Like that's not gonna happen." And Jerry was like, "What do you mean? It's different from men and women. Women have a biological clock. You know, by the time they get a certain age, they eggs dry up. Like I want kids." And this was made in 2024, if not 2023. It's just like, I know that movies like this need to exist because you need to hold a mirror up to the niggas that's still saying that to this day. Grown man with a platform, saying something as trifling as, "I want to have a family, so I can't date nobody my age because her eggs will be shriveled up." And this happens a lot to Jerry, okay? Jerry often interviews people who be calling Jerry on their shit. And Jerry be like, "Woo, that's Jerry. That's what Jerry does." Like I said, if you don't know who Jerry is, just look up Tom and Jerry and then look up who looks like Tom and Jerry. And that's all I'm gonna say. But it's just very like, that's gross. Like you almost 40 years old and you are still perpetuating this idea that the girl you need to be with needs to be almost half your age in order for you to have a healthy sexual life. Like, thank God the person that was interviewing with him was like, "No, I have a younger sister and my younger sister don't need to be dating nobody that's my age. I'm in my 30s, she in her 20s. Like, you just taking advantage of her. That's gross." And you know, it's no wonder Jerry is a fan of another person currently being called out, because I see if that person's not a fan of him, if that person he's a fan of does not believe in that, Jerry definitely does, which is, rappers, this is why you need to not be talking about stuff that you don't believe in and making little comments and snide comments about young girls and all that, because there are real life men walking around in the real regular world being tyrants for us that we got to deal with.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I just caught on. I know who Jerry is, and you're right.
And Jerry has a lot of fucking nerve as well. If I want to be problematic,
nerve. Don't even. We can talk about this off camera.
A lot of fucking nerve. Yeah. I'm not gonna compare him to another person in this movie, but like he could easily play, if there was a 2024 version, he could easily play a different person in this movie, because nigga, let's be fucking for real.
Be for real. Also, that just reminded me of something.
See,
yeah, you
everybody gets it now. And you know, maybe I'll share the video privately, but I just saw it on Twitter.
I don't want to see it.
It just happened.
I don't want to. Like, of course. And that just reminded me of something. I had lunch like 2 weeks ago with somebody, and towards the end we were talking about dating, and for context, she's probably like 10 years older than me, so she's like in her late 30s ish and dating, and I'm in my late 20s and I'm dating. And she had mentioned, she was like, "Okay, girl, well, let me tell you, you better hurry up, because you don't want to be like me, you know, dating 40, 45-year-old men who have never had a serious relationship, just or barely learning how to communicate now, if that, and like all this yada yada." And I was just like, wow, Yeah,
Can I
there's
make a counter
lot of,
argument to that?
that was crazy. Yeah. But yeah. And that man,
Um,
Gary, it's giving that.
yeah,
But
he's
continue.
doing that. Um, I get what she's saying, but I think she's underestimating how many of those men are in relationships learning how to be that man at 40.
Mm.
There's something I always say. You don't raise your partner. Okay. You don't. That's not your job. They had parents, they had guardians. You don't raise your partner. And a lot of people in relationships, especially women who are cis and or dating men and married to men, a lot of the times they go through that trial and tribulation of being with that man until he becomes the perfect guy, and they can't appreciate or don't want to deal with him because they've been through so much pain. So I don't really I get what she's saying, but all she's doing is telling you to get locked down early on that. Like you get to reap the fruits of your labor because you helped him get there. But like, can you really reap? And this is just all hypothetical speaking. This is not
Yeah.
like something that's personally happening to
There's
any of
one thing
us or
I'm not
anything.
gonna do. Listen, I'm not the biggest fan of K Michelle, but she made a point
But
with that song. Okay. Because you
and
can't,
did
you know, like you can't do it. And I
you
will
can't
not.
do it.
Like,
You if he wants you to be his piece, I feel like peace equals punching bag. He
yeah,
wants you to allow him to emote and get all that out and not judge him and not hold against him what he's put you through. And girl, it's time to run. So like, yeah, she may be single in her 30s, almost 40s, but like you also could have spent your entire 20s raising a man.
girl, and
So
I have seen it. And this is okay. There was a part two to that point that I had forgot about. Wait, no, oh, it's gone. Wait. Oh, no, I remember it's back. Okay. Okay.
okay.
So when you had mentioned that you don't have to be in the situation to grow. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, agree. And I feel like all of these women in this film should have taken notes because me personally, I didn't date anybody until I was 23. Like first ever time I like somebody actually liked me back, which was literally mind-blowing. And I was very happy that it had finally happened to me. But I had spent my entire high school life, my entire undergrad life, COVID, okay, watching people go in and out of relationships, in and out of situationships. And, you know, I'm not going to say like I didn't like do that too. Like, I'm not necessarily counting that. I mean, like 23 was the first time like I actually like decided to like seriously commit to somebody and like well, never mind. We don't even, anyway.
We
So,
won't even no spotlight, no spotlight.
yeah, no, that's different. But no, the thing is like I feel like I was able, like the two of us were able to like come together and connect because we had both spent time watching other people mess up and learning from their mistakes, reading blog posts, listening to people talk, and like actually taking notes. And I just feel like people need to think about that a little bit more. Like there is no reason that you have to be like a serial monogamist and you can't be alone and like all kinds of stuff like this. When you see other people that do the same thing, they end up in the exact same position that you are in right now. And yeah, maybe you're also in therapy too. Maybe you should actually listen to your therapist, do the work, take the notes and put it into practice because you're not going to grow without being uncomfortable. And maybe that's the problem. People don't want to be uncomfortable no more. That's the
Yeah. You don't have to be in a situation that's going to put your like life, health, safety, all at risk for you to grow. You don't have to. I get it. Like there's a lot of things that make you stronger. There's a lot of things that I can deal with pressure wise that other people can't deal with because they didn't go through the film industry, which I completely understand. I understand their reaction, but also you shouldn't have to go through a high pressure situation for you to want to get better or learn a better coping way. You know, you can only do what you know, which I understand. But this is why I said this movie was kind of like the blind leading the blind a little bit. And then Gloria had the flashlight because they really, you know, that just circumstances of growing up, having certain people in their lives, they really were still learning to become themselves for the first time in their late 30s. And I love that for them. But I want to make sure, Danielle, that you have any highlights that you wanted to list that we haven't already talked about because we do have to start wrapping up.
I just had one. I really liked how they used, I think I'm almost certain it was the Romeo and Juliet theme song when Oh my God, when was that? When Troy was throwing the oranges and she was telling him, "Don't do that, put that down." They had the Romeo and Juliet theme song playing, and
I did
that
not
was
notice
hilarious.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
It was very much Romeo and Juliet. It was hilarious though. I want to say you raggedy bitch every 2 minutes now. Like,
And you know, I
I-
was a little bit disappointed in the delivery. I wanted it to be harsher.
honestly, watching it outside of the movie, the delivery was fine. Watching it with the movie, I feel like he could have yelled a little bit more. He could have been a little bit more toxic. You know, he
but he
could have
was
just been
drunk.
really stumbly with it. I mean, he was, but I don't know. I would have liked to see him be even more exaggerated since this man tried to go. He was like, "Can I use your bathroom? Can you, can I do something?" She was like, "No." He was like, hmm. She's like, "Don't throw that." He was like, "Raggedy bitch." Like, it was just so funny. Like, 10 out of Michael T. Williamson, 10 out of 10. Also, Michael Beach as a younger person was also attractive. I have yet to see him in an unproblematic role, but he was
Yeah.
also attractive as well. It's just like funny. It's just funny meeting people way before I was interested in, really delving deep into film and Black cinema and having no true idea of who they were. And then seeing them in things and be like, oh, you were like in movies. Like, people. Like, that's
Yeah.
crazy. I spoke to you and knew nothing about that. But all right, we have reached the moment of truth. Waiting to Exhale came out in 1995, almost 30-year anniversary next year. Ladies, what do we give this movie out of 5 hot combs? How many do we give?
Okay, I'll start. This was a great movie. Um, the music was great. The acting was great. People got on my nerves, but I can't hold that against the film because that just means that, it was working. Like their delivery came through. Um, I will take off a half a point. It's going to be a 4.5. And I'm taking it off because the fat phobia did not enjoy, the homophobia did not enjoy. Those did not age well. And yeah, I think that's really out of like things that were not of character flaws I didn't like. Those were the only like real things I genuinely did not like about this movie. So it's gonna be a 4.5 for me.
Solid.
Bobby.
So when I went to rate this film again on Letterboxd, my original rating had popped up. I had rated it a 3 the first time I watched it, which is kind of crazy. I don't know what I was thinking because today I'm going to rate it a 4.5 out of 5 hot combs. One, because the fact that we sat here for an hour and were able to talk about as much stuff as we were able to just lets you know everything. Like they really got into it and they didn't necessarily hold back. Like the stuff that was happening in this movie still happens to people today. Clearly we are our parents, unfortunately. It just is what it is. I loved the music, which we didn't get a chance to talk about, but the soundtrack was amazing. I sure did turn on Shoopadoop, Shoop that I
Oh,
turned
yeah.
on after,
Sure did.
then went into
Sure
Adele
did.
because Adele, I feel like if Adele was in this movie, it would make it even better. But anyway, yeah, so
And,
that
a nice end movie, just a nice end song to it with, probably end it with Adele.
and randomly, I really enjoyed the fact that it was in Phoenix. It was a nice change of pace than what we have usually seen. Normally they're in like a huge metropolitan city, but Phoenix, Arizona, my family is from Arizona. I was born in Arizona. I spend a lot of time in Arizona. So I was like, you know what? Shoot, Black people are in Arizona, okay? Like, give us our rights. Like, we live there and it's fine. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5.
All righty. I also have to give it a 4.5 out of 5 hot combs. Clean sweep, if you will. 4.5s across the board, 9.5 out the board. I have to give it that. This movie, I would watch this movie again. And also, we've watched a lot of long movies this season. This is the first 2 hour movie that didn't feel like 2 hours. Now that could be because I did have to take a break because I had to make my meal prep for the week because I'm an adult and I'm responsible. But when I came back to it, I was back on it like I never left. Okay. It was not something I wanted to stop watching. I just had to do it because of life. But like, dare I say, this is almost a perfect movie.
Yeah.
It's real life. It makes you mad about things that are still happening, which realistically, we shouldn't be mad about these things anymore because we shouldn't even be experiencing it. But the fact that none of us was born when this movie came out and men are still acting the same.
Crazy.
I feel like, we must continue to play the same things over and over again so history can learn. And this is one of those movies. This movie was so good, dare I say, I kind of want to read the book. Because I know if this is the movie adaptation, the book probably eats. Because there's plenty of stuff they can't put in that. I can see why it was 2 hours long. It just felt very fleshed out. And maybe it's because it was a book first. But I just loved it. Like thus far, this is my favorite movie that we watched this season. I can absolutely say that. Has my favorite people. I mean, it has Whitney Houston, Angela Bassett, like Loretta Devine,
and Layla Rochon, like Miss Girl was
Layla
working.
Rochon, Wesley Snipes. Like it's just the cast and then Whitney singing over her own parts.
That was like, wait, hold on. Sidebar. There was
I was like, he's so bad. He's so bad. Like
in the movie, Whitney had said something.
There was what?
Go ahead, Brie. Finish your thought.
That's okay. I have nothing else but voices and sounds to make.
That's
literally
real.
I have no other things but to it's just like I said, I just feel like if it wasn't culturally relevant anymore, it wouldn't still be beloved. But because there are literally women who saw this movie when it came out and knows how they felt when this movie came out, I mean, we have to give our parents, at least I have to give my mom some slack because she told me, it don't matter if they old, young, cute, all that, they still the same. And this movie is proving that they're just, I want to so much believe that men aren't the same as they were in the 90s. But the fact that some of these scenarios were like, I damn near had an experience toe to toe, like except for Bernadine because I wasn't married. But it was just like, and Gloria, but Gloria's spirit, we right here. Me and Gloria's spirit is right here together. But it's just, yeah, I have nothing but thoughts and sounds.
Man.
All right. I think we're done. Is there something else you wanted to say?
No, there was. But then like you had said something and it reminded me of something else and I forgot my original thought and then I remembered it, then I forgot the new thought and so
honestly, we could talk about this movie for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, because
it's a girls movie.
You're right. This is a girls movie. This is like a sleepover-esque movie.
Ooh, yes. This is like chill sleepover face mask. Let's watch Waiting to Exhale. Like this is that.
And cry a little.
For adults. Cry a little bit, drink wine.
Listen, this is like when your girl just got broken up with or whatever, or just broke up with her man. She needs a good night, so we all put on our onesies, we turn on Waiting to Exhale, and then we make PowerPoint presentations about this man and tell her everything about why he sucks, why you don't need him no more, and now it's time to move on. You know what? I don't want my friends to get broken up with, but if they do, I'm ready.
This is absolutely a girls movie, and I want to watch this movie for my birthday. And I'm just gonna leave it at that because Daniel knows what that means. But that's all I'm gonna say. We definitely have to make a night out of that. So, alrighty then. that's been another episode of the Box Office here on the Hot Comes and Popcorn podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Again, my name is Brianna.
My name is Bobby.
My name is Danielle.
And we do hope you enjoyed this episode because it's probably going to be a little bit longer than some of our other previous, but it's just because we love this movie so much. Again, 4.5, okay? 30 years later, and it's still that bitch. All right. And if you haven't already done so, please follow and subscribe to us on our YouTube and Apple Podcast channels. Buzzsprout, we're on Spotify now as well for the girlies who are anti-Apple Music and things. Throw us a like, share this episode, leave the comments below. Have you seen Waiting to Exhale? Did you see it when it first came out? Specifically, we want to call all the ladies, right? Because I feel like the last movie we watched, we called on the men as well. We want to call on the ladies. How does this movie hold up for you? Did you love it when it first came out? Could you relate to it? Do you feel like you can relate to it now? Like, I would just love to know from the perspective of other women, especially other Black women and women of color, how you felt about this, okay? And then while you're down there, just let us know some movies you want us to watch, okay? We are in season 3. We're deep into season 3. If you haven't caught on, our seasons usually end around Christmas, New Year's time. So we have holidays coming up. We need suggestions because there's certain movies Brianna don't want to watch, and we probably gonna default on those movies if y'all don't give us options to watch. So, as you guys know, the street lights come on every night at whatever PM, and they about to come on. They probably are already on. We're probably gonna get our ass beat when we walk through the door, but that's why you go through the window. So we'll see you guys next time, same place, same time. Bye.